Welcome to another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. As you can see, we're in the Jaguar section of the garage with probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Jag of all time, XJ220. This was a revolutionary car when it came out. A car that was built on the sly, like a lot of great cars. This was built by passionate engineers who kind of worked outside the system. They worked on Saturday mornings and after work to sort of develop this car. And then once it was done, they did what they could to try and get it in production. It's a rather tortured history. The car began life as a four-wheel drive, a V12, with about 550, 542 horsepower, something like that. And when it finally reached production, it was a turbocharged V6 rear-wheel drive, which had just about the same power. A lot of people put deposits down on the car when it was going to be a V12 or four-wheel drive. And then when it came out with a V6, they changed their mind or decided they didn't want it or whatever. So it's a rather strange situation. The car certainly proved itself. This was the fastest car in the world at one point in the early 90s till the McLaren F1 came out. It set the record at Nürburgring. This is a road-going, well, they're all road-going versions of the car. Let's meet the owner, Philip Sarafin. Philip, come on in. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for bringing this by.
How are you? Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, now he's not selling anything. He doesn't have a business. He's not a Jaguar dealer. He's just a huge car enthusiast who loves these cars like we do. These are so rare, and it's probably one of the most misunderstood supercars, isn't it?
It is, it is. It's an oddity, and that's what attracted me to the car. There were 32 U.S. spec cars. I think there's only 6 in the U.S. now.
Okay.
I bought this car in Japan in July, and it had not been driven in 12 years. And now after an engine-out service, it's running beautifully.
Right. Now, the guy had it on the 37th floor of an office building. Is that what it was?
In Tokyo, yes.
You can't really get a lot of miles on a 37th floor of an office. Well, you know, the interesting thing was, I remember in the mid-90s or early 2000s, these were like $80,000, $100,000.
In 2008, these cars were sub $100,000 cars.
The thing was, you couldn't get tires for it because the tires were bespoke to the car. Bridgestone made a special tire just for this car. And when those were gone, they were gone. That was it. So the value of these cars hit rock bottom. All the pictures I've seen, it seemed enormous. It still seems big. It's a wide car, isn't it? It's wider than a Dodge Viper, isn't it?
It's over 7 feet wide.
Wow.
7 feet 6 inches.
And what does it weigh, do you know?
3,400 pounds.
Okay, so that's
the curb weight.
Yeah, that's not bad. And of course, the early 90s was a long time ago. It seems like yesterday to me, but it's 25 years, 26 years ago when this car was developed. And 542 horsepower just barely gets you in the club now. But back in the day, that was a huge number.
It was.
For a production car. And it's still an incredibly fast car. This was, I believe, the 7th fastest supercar in the world. And a manual shift gearbox, obviously, right?
Yes.
How many speeds is it?
5-speed.
It's a 5-speed, okay. Yeah, I don't know why these weren't as popular as they should have been. I mean, when you have the title of fastest car in the world and you have the record at Nürburgring for 10 years, that seems like that should be enough. What do you think the reason was? Any idea?
The car was originally advertised as being a V12 with all-wheel drive.
Right.
Tire technology at the time could not support the weight of having a V12 with all-wheel drive. So they had to convert to a V6 twin-turbo rear-wheel drive, which ended up making it an even faster car than the V12 they had produced.
But I get that. If I ordered a V12 with four-wheel drive, sorry, here's your new car. It's a V6 to 3-wheel. Whoa, 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 go back. That's not what I ordered. Yeah.
Yes, yes. They took 1,500 deposits for 50,000 pounds.
Right.
Which, you know, is a staggering number.
And it seems like such a big car for English roads. It goes against what the English tend to build, sporty, you know, smaller cars. I mean, it really is. This is Kardashian from back here. It's a big rear end. I didn't say it wasn't beautiful. I just said it was. It's Kardashian-like. You know?
Right.
And beautifully styled the way the spoiler is integrated here. That's nicely done. I mean, a few car companies since have done that as well. And it really is an aerodynamic shape. And it's called, of course, XJ220 because, well, I think it reached 217 point something miles an hour, and they ran out of road.
217.1, yes.
Yeah. And had they had another maybe half a mile, it would have hit the 220. So don't forget, the first car to break 200 was the Ferrari F40.
F40.
That was the first production car, and that just touched 200, 201, 202. This one, 220.
Right.
So that was pretty amazing. Let's take a look at the interior. You know what's interesting? I've been reading road tests on these things, and people seem to denigrate the interior. The interior looks fine to me. I think it's a rather attractive interior.
At the time, it was a very luxurious interior.
Yeah.
And it's a very comfortable car, as you'll see when we go for a drive.
And something that's very cool to me, look at the way these instruments are integrated into the door control. I'd never seen that before.
I love that.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it's kind of fun to see a steering wheel without an airbag, just a proper steering wheel. I know the airbag, I know it's safety, I know all that, thank you. I just like the look of it. Every road test, the car was let down by its interior. I don't think that's the case at all. It has the classic English leather in there. Can we open the hood?
We can,
Okay.
let's do.
I think you open it on this side, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of extra space, you know, when they switch from the V12 to
Right,
the
right. But still, it looks like it belongs in there. It doesn't look like a tiny little engine. And how many liter is this? What is it, do you know?
3.5 liters.
Oh, it's 3.5 liter. Wow. So you've got 542 horsepower from 3.5 liter. That's pretty
It's
good.
a rally engine.
Yeah,
It's a rover motor.
I mean, it doesn't look as complicated in here as you might have guessed. I mean, there's your turbo on each side, twin turbos there. Dry sump down there. 3.5 liters. What do you think? Can we take it for a ride?
Let's do. I thought you'd never ask.
Yes, I'm anxious to. This is one of those cars I've always heard about, and I've seen, but I've never really looked at up close in person. All of them seem to have been squirreled away sometime in the 90s and hidden in collections like the guy in Japan and other people.
Very many
Yeah.
are such low mileage
Yeah,
cars.
yeah, that's the thing. So I would think
This one won't be.
very tempting. Let's take it for a ride. It's fun to feel the turbos come on boost.
It's great to feel the boost.
Wow, I mean, it feels modern car fast. This must have been unbelievable back in, well, it was. It was the fastest car in the world till the F1 McLaren came along.
It was, and then the Roof CTR2 Sport.
Yeah. And like the new P1, you have the glass roof so you don't feel claustrophobic in here. You know, there's such snobbery about V6 engines. With a supercar, if it's not a V8 or V12, people feel cheated. And I think that's what happened first go around. But I think I've driven all manner of Jaguar V12s, and I prefer this. It feels light and rev happy. You know, it's a wonderful. When it comes on that boost, it really makes you smile.
It really does. It's great. I love feeling it come on.
I mean, you realize this is rarer than even the P1 McLaren, because they only built, what, 272?
They built 271.
271. Well, I guess the real trick is trying to find people who can work on it, but it doesn't seem that complicated to me.
No, it's a very simple design.
I should have bought one of these when they were $80,000.
You can borrow mine anytime.
There you go. You know, I gotta admit, I was one of those people that was so disappointed when it wasn't a V12 and it wasn't everything. You know, I realized I like this better. I like rear wheel drive.
I was initially very disappointed myself, and for a long time I didn't like the car.
Yeah.
And then I just realized it's one of the most beautiful shapes I've ever seen.
It's really nice to drive.
It's great. It's comfortable, isn't it?
I'm stunned that I was such a snob. I feel terrible. I totally misjudged this car. Well, because, you know, when this came out, Jaguar was not where they are today. They still had kind of a finicky reputation in the United States and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then some people thought it'd be one thing, somebody thought something else. So, yeah, terribly misunderstood. And it's sad because, boy, this truly is a great car. The steering is so nice on this car. Wow, 3,800 and something miles. It's brand new, isn't it?
Kilometers.
Kilometers, so that's what? A little over 250 miles. Something
It
like
had
that.
2,100 miles.
Like 2,500 miles. Yeah.
When I bought it. The next time I see you, it will have 25,000.
Yeah, that's right. And that'll be next weekend.
Exactly.
Well, what a treat this is. First of all, I want to apologize, the XJ220. You know, this car is like that girl in high school you thought was pretty, but you thought maybe she was a snob, so you've never paid much attention to her. Then you spend some time with her, and you go, oh my God, she's like the greatest girl in the world. You know, this is an amazing, I have never been seduced by a car as quickly as I have by this. Because I just had an opinion, like most people, that, it was underpowered, it didn't have what it had. It's been I thought we'd go for a 2-minute drive. I mean, I could drive this thing the rest of the afternoon. Boy, it's just wonderful. And you know, that little bit of turbo lag, I really enjoy, because you put your foot in and you go 1, 2, boom, and then everything hooks up and it just takes off. It's really great. I think the interior is beautiful. I think the car is very understated. I think it's a style that's 25 years old, but you could put this shape out tomorrow, and I think it would look contemporary. I don't think anybody, if you didn't know cars, you would think this was a modern supercar that came out just a few years ago. Philip, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay.
What a tremendous treat this has been.
Thank you very much for having me on your
Thanks
show.
for taking this out of Japan, where it was on the 37th floor of an office building where nobody could see it, and putting it on the street here in California. So it's really great. Philip, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week. Fantastic car. Ah!
Mm-hmm.